Hey, small groups. Good to see you. I love what you guys are doing. Hope your small groups are going amazing. In my message this week, we talked about hope just happened, and we looked at the life and story of Daniel and his friends. We did a whole series on Daniel just a year ago, but felt like it was worth revisiting in the current times that we're in. But the whole book of Daniel is all about the struggle to remain faithful to God in a foreign land. How do we stay hopeful when the circumstances of our lives are not what we would have wanted or chosen? And how does that hope impact how we live? A couple of things that I think would be interesting to unpack in your discussion time together is how hopeful do you feel? If you were to make a list for me of the things that you're hoping for, I use the word targets that you're aiming for, because what we hope for informs what we live for. But what are the things that you're hoping for? Do you think that impacts how you live? There's an incredibly powerful statement made in Daniel 3 when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego respectfully but boldly say that they won't bow down and worship before this gold statue, even with the threat of death. And I want to read it to you. It says in verse 17, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. And he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold that you've set up." The little phrase that I would love for you all to unpack a little bit more is this idea of even if he does not. It's the moment that puts them with the heroes of faith in Hebrews 11. They didn't gamble their faith on the outcome of God answering their prayer. What do you think of that? Have you known anyone with a faith like that? Have you had moments where you begged God for an outcome that wasn't coming? And how did you navigate that? Are you navigating that still? And lastly, we looked at one of the dreams of Daniel that was echoed in Revelation and looked to the truth that the kingdom of God is everlasting. The vision wasn't in the timeline that Daniel was hoping for. Again, he wanted to go back to Israel in his lifetime, and that was the news, that's not going to happen. But this dream, this vision still gave him hope, and it would go on to give Israel hope through the suffering and the exiles to come. In a time when the world feels shaky, we can remember that the kingdom of God is sturdy, that his big story ends with his victory. The kingdom of God and his purposes prevail. At the end of our time together, we played this song that's called "The Story I'll Tell," originally by Maverick City Music. And in it, there's lyrics that share about being in the middle of struggle and being totally unsure of what God was doing, but declaring his faithfulness that would come. I want to encourage you to maybe look it up, maybe find it, maybe listen to it as a group, and talk about what it stirs in you. It's incredibly powerful. Those things I hope you enjoy in your small group. Hope just happened. Thank you, guys.